Mark Carney, nice to see you. Thank you for making the time today.
Thanks for having me, Rosemary.
So you outline in this book three major crises that you see that we are facing: COVID, obviously, climate change, also obviously, and credit. I want to start with COVID because it's sort of top of mind for everybody. One of the things that you write that sort of struck me, because I hadn't thought about it this way before, is that compliance at moments like this is reinforced when policies align with the value of citizens. And you use Canada as an example of where that seems to happen. I wonder if you could give examples, though, of countries where that clearly hasn't happened, where values are not aligned with policies, and so people have pushed back against some of the parameters they've been asked to live within.
Well, we have seen that, and we've seen examples, some examples in the United States, some challenges in some European countries as well. And it starts to some extent towards attitudes towards government, trust in government, trust in scientific experts, and the willingness to follow that advice. And we see it, unfortunately, the consequence of that in terms of health and quite frankly in terms of mortality has been quite severe, and then has caused and necessitated much more severe actions, more severe lockdowns, more extreme measures in order to get the disease back under control. In Canada, we've seen, and to the great credit of Canadians first and foremost, this isn't about government programs, it's about a spirit of solidarity with each other, respect for each other. The Canadians have complied, have taken steps, and have looked to help each other wherever possible through this. Clearly has been a difficult time, but the result has been that we've had better outcomes than many other societies.
I want to talk about climate change because that is where a lot of your life is spent right now, thinking about that. And again, there you compare climate to the pandemic. They are both global problems. We cannot just deal with them individually. Do you think the urgency that we have seen as a result of the pandemic has opened a new window in the fight against climate change, or given added momentum, perhaps?
Yeah, I think it has. And if we'd been sitting here a year ago, literally a year ago, when the pandemic was really breaking, I would have thought, the jury would have been out. I could have seen it going either way. I think it's clearly broken in the direction of added urgency for a few reasons. One, we have a sense of global problems ultimately come to us here. They require global solutions in order to solve them. We all have to play our role. Secondly, we can't self-isolate from climate change. Ultimately, we'll all be affected, so we all have to act. I think as well there's a recognition that the advice of scientists should be listened to. They advised on the risks of pandemics. We didn't fully listen to them anywhere in the world. They've been advising for a long time of the risks on climate change. It is time to listen. But I think as well, there's a deeper point, and this is something I tried to bring out in the book, which is when push comes to shove and people think about their value and have revealed their values, it is a value where they value sustainability, a sustainable economy in all senses. And a sustainable economy obviously has a fundamental climate element to it.
One other topic that came up was his view on how badly Canada and other countries were caught off guard in the early days of the COVID-19 crisis.
You do write that at one point that you are surprised that most nations were not prepared for this, that there had been plenty of warnings, that Canada and other nations had not, for instance, stockpiled personal protective equipment adequately. Why do you think nations didn't take those warnings seriously? And what do you think will be done as a result of what we've experienced?
Well, let's be blunt. I mean, there's no joy in the fact that everyone else did a terrible job on this. We weren't prepared. We weren't prepared in terms of PPE stockpiles. We weren't prepared in terms of vaccine capacity, other aspects, and that is a reality.
The full interview with Mark Carney runs this Sunday on Rosemary Barton Live, 10 a.m. Eastern on CBC News Network and CBC Gem, and 11 Eastern on CBC Television.